Hello guys, this is Danal coming at you with another Mega Construx video. In today's episode, I am covering Halo Heroes Series 5, the famous series. This episode marks my 5th episode of my Halo Heroes series. And so yeah, let's just get started. So, this series, as you may notice, is a bit special. It's all Halo 3 characters. Now, I can't find any information about this, so it may be wrong, but I believe this series coincides with the anniversary of Halo 3. Therefore, celebrating the game and all its characters. So this series takes a break from a lot of its traditional conventions. No multiplayer Spartans. No guys from New Games. No guys from Fireteam Majestic or anything like that. This is just strictly Halo 3 characters. And it's the series up to this point with the most named characters. So we have Sergeant Johnson, Cortana, Master Chief and his Mark 6, the Prophet of Truth, the Arbiter, and a Brute Bodyguard. So 5 named characters, which is very rare. As well as, I believe this is the series with the least amount of Spartans, with only, well, you know if you know Halo lore, but technically really only 1 Spartan. So yeah, let's get on with it. Starting off with our first figure. Oh, actually, I've changed my mind. I'm going to tell you why it's so legendary. This series is infamous because, one, it's highly sought after. If you're not familiar with the Halo games themselves, Halo 3 is amongst the most popular. People love Halo 3. Myself, I'm kind of iffy on it sometimes. I'm not a huge fan of the multiplayer, and as someone really into writing, I think the story is a bit weak. Anyway, people love the characters, people want the figures. All of these guys had never been made before. That's not true. These were all just like, these versions hadn't been made before. They were rare as well, a lot of these figures. Like Prophet of Truth had happened to have one made of him before, but it was very hard to come by. Even though so this series was high in demand already, but unfortunately it was in low supply. This series had horrible distribution and rarely got to the US. It was widely distributed in Mexico, so the only way to really, for most people to get it, was to import. This series has become very legendary. Almost all these figures are starting off extremely rare, but as well as very expensive. I think all of these guys can run you up of about $80 each. Yeah, so when I say expensive, I mean expensive. Probably the rarest from the series would have to be the Brute Bodyguard back here, then Chief, then Johnson, Arbiter, then Cortana. Cortana is probably the most common one of all of them, and then Arbiter is second most common. So let's just get started on the figures. I've been yapping for long enough. Let's start out with Sergeant Johnson. So, as I've stated before, so I don't repeat myself constantly, this Sergeant Johnson and all the figures are based off of Halo 3. Alright, let's get him in view. So here's Johnson. This is using his Halo 3 armor, his different look that he has for that game. Johnson only been seen one time up until now with a Halo 2 version, which came in the Shadow Convoy. Johnson's, I'm just going to take it off of this stick, that's not working. So this Johnson sports his Spartan laser he uses in the final level Halo 3. This is also the Gold series, marking the kind of like special anniversary. So Johnson uses this blazer, which is painted up here, as you can see, with the gray and the typical stripe. He also has dry brush, as you can tell. This is always memed after being one of the most dry brushed figures ever. You can see, look at that, how shiny he is, just on all of his body. It's pretty crazy. People complain about it because I think it looks really good on like the armor pieces, but like on the hand, I don't know. It gives it that like metallic look, but like his hand's not metallic, so that doesn't make much sense. So yeah, much better head mold than the original, though I personally have a soft spot for the original because I think it looks kind of like how he does in like CE and Halo 2. But I think this one's more accurate for like the more grizzled and like older look, I suppose. So yeah, good figure. Since then, we have gotten another version or two of Johnson for Halo 3 look, but this one's great in its own right. You can see the UNSC logo up there, painted mustache, got his skin tone really well. He's a little too dark in the original version than I think what is accurate to the game. You have the new Halo 3 armor from the time. I think this was the debut of it, actually. I don't know if any other figure used it. But yeah, there's Johnson. Next, we have this series' Cortana. Now, you may notice she doesn't come with any accessories, which is a little odd for a Heroes figure. Her accessory technically is just 343 Guilty Spark. He had been seen at this point. He had come in a blind bag series. He wasn't completely new, but, you know, still very cool to get him. You don't get him too often. I feel like a lot of people don't even have him. He comes in the anniversary pack. He comes in the blind bags, and then 2 different Cortanas. But yeah, there's Guilty Spark. If you weren't familiar with him, he has this unique piece, which is actually 2 pieces. So if you pull them apart, 3 pieces, my mistake. You have this piece here, you put the eyeball on there. Then you take each side and you slide them in to these little pegs. And it comes together for the outer shell. You can actually change that eyepiece out so you can have him be like the evil spark or whatever. Put a big laser beam on him. Make him shoot Johnson. Ah! I always found that noise he made funny when he gets shot by him in the game. Very sad scene though, obviously. Alright. So, Cortana herself. I'm kind of iffy about this one. This is the first time we had gotten this new articulation Cortana, actually. She got, I believe, just new arms. I think chest, legs, head is all the same as the one that came in the Midnight Broadsword set. But look at that printing on her. Really amazing. Really makes it look like the flowiness of the AI. Her head I'm a little iffy about. It almost makes her hair look like blue, doesn't it? Like, her hair is so much darker than the rest of her, and her face is very dark too. In game, I feel like her face is almost white. Not like white skin tone, but like white like the background. Like, it's very pale. And this, I don't think it just looks like her. It's serviceable though. I think the mold for the body is really good. I think they're still kind of perfecting the AI looks at the time. But yeah, I think this is still a great figure, and probably the best Cortana. No, I take that back. I have one more I like more than this one, which is actually in Heroes. We'll get to that one day. Yeah, almost a perfect figure. Just the head could have been a little better. All right, next we have a very legendary figure. This is probably the most sought after of the series. This is Halo 3 Chief. So we've had many different Halo 3 Chiefs over time, though I would argue that this is my personal favorite of all the different ones. We just got a new one, in the elephant, for example. I'll just take this off so you can see better. So, he comes with a flamethrower with the painted shark nose. This is actually the one and only time we get a flamethrower in Heroes series. Then it comes with this flame piece, which I don't believe is new at the time, which you just kind of slot in here for the flame effect when he's torching the flood. Though it tends to fall out because it gets heavy. It also has, like, I would say probably the biggest accessory of any Halo Hero series is his flamethrower here. But yeah, great figure. Here, I'll take his flamethrower off so you can see him in better detail. So here he is in his Halo 3 glory. So when I mentioned the elephant one, for example, I think that one's too glossy looking. I think in Halo 3 he has this like matte, kind of like muted green. I think they captured it perfectly in this figure. The visor is okay. The paint on there is not great. I would have liked a metallic visor, but the rest of them is perfect. Look at that wash. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful, beautiful figure. Yeah, just incredible. Look at that back. Yeah, perfect figure, perfect figure. That visor could have used work, but I mean, that's just kind of nitpicking at this point. I think the rest of them is basically perfect. Let me give him a funny pose here. Maybe he's torching the sky. Sorry, I'm doing this behind the camera. It's a little difficult. There we go. So next up, we have the Prophet of Truth. So this is the second time we're getting the Prophet of Truth in Mega Construx form. No, I lied. This is the third time. The first time was in the Shadow Convoy set, legendary set, maybe one of the best Mega has ever made. Perfect set. But this is the upgraded version of him. Then the second one was in the Scarab, but that's why I hesitated when I said the second one. That one's the hologram version, but I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So this Truth has not a dry brush, but like a faint brushing. You can kind of see, makes the robes look more real. On here, you kind of see the black paint where it'd be. Makes it look so much better than the original. I think the original looks a lot more like a toy than this one does. So yeah, the extra paint just makes it look so good. So yeah, Prophet of Truth there. He comes with, unfortunately, an unpainted spiker. As you might know, in-game, Truth uses this spiker to take out a certain character. I won't say who. That's really the only time you see him using a weapon, though. But I guess they deemed it unimportant and just gave him an unpainted one. I don't even know if this is the right one, but the one he came with is completely unpainted. So yeah, I don't have the original on hand, but I believe they improved the head sculpt a little bit, or at least the painting on it. The crown looks so good. It's removable here. The head looks a little funny without the crown on it, but yeah. Here's Truth. Great figure. It's simple, but also the Prophets themselves, design-wise, are pretty simple, I would say. The head mold they made was perfect. The body is pretty good. I wish there was like a standing one a little more, but it works good enough for sitting and standing. Yeah, very sought after. Everyone wants to have a Truth in their army to lead their covenant. All right, let's move on. Oh my gosh. So next figure is probably, unfortunately, my least favorite of the series. Not bad at all. We have the Arbiter based on Halo 3. Now, as same with Johnson, we have that dry brushing for the armor to make it look very metallic, and the paint is a lot on this underneath jumpsuit. He comes with this energy sword, which is like white with a little bit of blue paint on it. I think this, I may be wrong, but I think this might be the first time we're seeing this Arbiter mold for like the really the whole figure, this mold for the armor. We've gotten this countless times now, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, you can remove the helmet. Here's the head underneath. Here's the helmet itself. So you may be curious, what are my issues with this figure? If it's a great mold, perfect mold, cool weapon, it's that he looks kind of ugly. In Halo 3, there's the whole debate about what color Arbiter's armor actually is. I think it's still the same one as Halo 2, just with like some gold tint, I suppose. But this one's purely just gold, like all gold. I think the undersuit looks the best part of it, though. Though it just doesn't look very game accurate. Yeah, this figure, just the problem with it is not being very game accurate. It really doesn't look like it. I think if they painted him like a maybe like a beige and then did a gold dry brush, that would look really good. But if you remember correctly, Arbiter's model in that game just looks very muted, very not very flashy, and this is the opposite of that. But still, if you ignore game accuracy, this is a beautiful piece, beautiful figure. One of the coolest energy swords, even though I don't think it really fits him. But yeah, cool figure. Not a fan of the execution. And here we have, last but not least, which is my favorite figure of the series and the hardest to track down, the Brute Bodyguard. So this one, again, is a friend of the dry brush, as he has it all over him, a lot of which is not even being picked up on camera. This figure is actually shinier in person, which might be hard to believe. So he has dry brush all over him, all over, not on his back the whole time, but mostly on his front. Every single one is different for all of these guys, for how much dry brush you're getting. Like, I have Johnson, one of his shoulders is basically untouched. But, yeah. So, Brute Bodyguard is interesting because he's the only guy in the series not named. This is just a generic guy. This is one of Truth's bodyguards. You see him, spoilers, in the scene where Truth is trying to activate the rings. When Miranda gets killed. So yeah, so he uses, I believe at the time, a new, one of the first time we saw these Captain molds. He comes with this painted Brute shot, which is this, like, the blade looks so cool. I'll move it out of the way so you can see the rest of him. Look at that. Got the paint on the chest, on the helmet, on the shoulder pads. You have, like, this extra little bit with, like, the gray painted on here, and, like, a small bit of gold, blue for the top. He's, like, you cannot see it on camera. He is, like, shiny in person. You have I unfortunately had some paint issues on the feet with, like, extra paint splatter. But, I mean, it also just kind of looks like he stepped in mud, which he's a brute. I wouldn't be surprised. I actually got to take mine brand new out of the package. It's the typical Brute, head underneath, no changes. It's the same as always. But yeah, so he's just my favorite because he was actually the last Heroes figure I needed to get them all back before a lot of the newer series had come out. He was the last one I needed of, the original series. And he was a chore to track down, I'll tell you that much. But yeah. He's my favorite. Probably one of my favorite Mega Construx figures in general, just because, like, how much special attention he got compared to all of these legends over here, which, fan favorite characters. So yeah, I'll give you my general thoughts about this series. I think this series probably lands somewhere in either the A or S tier of Mega Construx figures. I think, going through one by one, at the time, this is probably the best Johnson, best Cortana, best Chief, best version of Truth. I think basically the only Arbiter, and then best Brute Captain, I suppose. I only have my minor issues with each figure, which are mostly nitpicks, right? So Johnson, the weird paint, Cortana, the head not looking the best, Chief with the visor, Arbiter with the color scheme, and then Truth and the Brute, I have no complaints. But even then, those are nitpicks for these three guys. These are, like, this Chief is, I kind of underrated him before. This may be one of the best Mega figures. But yeah, I know this has been a very long video, but this is a special series, so I want to give it a bit more attention. Good luck trying to get all these guys. I know it can be a challenge. I've definitely felt that challenge, but I hope you can get all of them if you're looking for them. So yeah, I think I'll end the video here. Comment what your thoughts are. Am I underrating this series? Am I overrating it? Which one's your favorite figure? Do you have these guys, or are you hoping to get them in the future? Do you have the re-releases? Because I know all of these guys have been remade, especially even in their Halo 3 colors since then. maybe besides Cortana, but and Truth actually. We need a new Truth set, you know, a set that has all 3 prophets. I have this. I'm extending the video here a little bit to be annoying. I have this like dream set, which would be Arbiter's Courtroom, where you get like the high charity courtroom. You get the stands on each side with the elite counselors. You have the Sanshayum counselors, which are the prophet species. Then you got like all 3 prophets in there. All 3 prophets in there, like in their chairs with Regret being the hologram. Then you have Arbiter in his original armor. You got Tartarus and the Brutes, Honor Guards. That would be like my favorite set. I think we just need the prophets re-released. We need the elite counselors. We need the prophet counselors, and we need those chairs, man. Those chairs, we need them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening to me rant and ramble. Comment about what content you want to see next. Next video that should come out will be the review of the Renegade Banshee from the Halo TV series. Check out my other videos. I'm going to have a playlist of all the different Halo Heroes episodes. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.